Right now, somewhere in America, someone is cleaning out a garage and tossing a box of old car parts into the dumpster. Rusty hubcaps, dented license plates, a coffee can full of bolts. To them it is junk taking up space. But sitting in that pile could be a single part that someone once paid $45,000 for. And this actually happened. A vintage car part from a garage just like that one sold at auction for $45,000. People started tearing through their garages and calling their dads asking what was in the old shed out back, because suddenly the most worthless thing in the garage might be a small fortune. Today I am going to show you exactly which parts to look for, because most old car parts are worth only a few dollars as scrap, but a handful of rare parts sell for hundreds, and the rarest ones climb into the thousands. The problem is the valuable ones look almost identical to the worthless ones. The difference is a marking and a couple of details that collectors know by heart, and they are quietly buying these up at every estate sale in the country, hoping you never learn what you have. And here is what makes this the perfect moment to check. The classic car market has exploded in the last 3 years, and nobody is making these parts anymore. When a vintage carburetor breaks, you cannot just order a new one, you have to find the original, and the people who own these cars will pay almost anything to get their hands on the right piece. Today, I am counting down the 8 vintage car parts that could be hiding in your garage right now, all the way to the most valuable of them all. And stay to the end, because there is a bonus part so rare it was only made for a single model year, and most collectors have never even seen one in person. So before we go any further, go to your garage right now and open the first box you can find. Pull out every old car part, then look at each one carefully because the markings on those parts are about to tell you everything. One quick rule before we start. Real collectible car parts were made before the late 1980s, while car manufacturers were still using proprietary designs and materials. After that, the industry shifted to mass-produced interchangeable parts that all look the same. So the older ones, the ones with unique markings and brand stamps, those are the ones that matter. Let us start the countdown at number 8. Number 8 was the most famous wheel cover of the entire 1960s. Number 8, the 1969 Chevrolet Corvette wheel cover. If you picture an American muscle car in your head, this is almost certainly the wheel you see. That chrome disc with the crossed flags emblem in the center, and the knockoff spinner spokes radiating outward. It was the defining wheel of the Corvette from 1966 through 1969, and Chevrolet made a lot of them, and because so many were produced, most people assume they are common and worthless. Usually, they are close to right. A rough dented wheel cover sells for maybe $40 to $80. But here is the insider secret. The ones that matter are the 1969 only version, with the smaller center cap and the specific part number stamped on the back. So flip yours over and look at the mounting ring. If it has the correct part number and the early small cap design, it is a more desirable piece worth noticeably more, especially as a complete set of 4. Number 7 was made for just one model year and almost nobody kept it. Number 7, the 1957 Cadillac Eldorado taillight assembly. This one looks like pure 1950s excess. A massive chrome housing with a bullet-shaped red lens and the iconic Cadillac fin sticking out the back. Most people would not even recognize it as a taillight because it looks more like a jet engine part, but the 57 Eldorado taillight was a one-year-only design, and it did not carry over to 58. Now I am going to be honest with you here, because accuracy matters. On its own, a common lens is not a jackpot. A cracked or faded lens might sell for $50 to $100, but it is a one-year-only part, which means the complete chrome housing with the original lens intact is the piece collector's chase, and those climb well beyond the loose lenses. The lesson of number 7 is the one that runs through this entire list. 1 year only production plus a bizarre oversized look is exactly the combination that hides value, because everyone else throws it away. Number 6 is smaller than a credit card and far rarer than it looks. Number 6, the vintage Porsche hood emblem. Picture a small gold-colored crest, maybe 2 inches wide, with a rearing horse in the center, and the word Stuttgart around the border. It was mounted on the hoods of Porsche 356 and early 911 models from the 1950s through the 1970s, and that little crest has become a genuine favorite among collectors. Turn the piece over and look for the manufacturer marking on the back. A genuine vintage Porsche emblem has the maker mark stamped into the metal and 2 metal prongs for mounting. A vintage emblem typically sells in the range of $200 to $500, and new old stock examples still in the original packaging can push toward $1,000. The tell here is those 2 mounting prongs and the maker mark on the back. If you have a small gold crest with a horse on it rattling around in a drawer, you are not holding a trinket. Number 5 was only made for a few short years in the early 1970s. Number 5, the Chrysler Hearst pistol grip shifter. This is a black plastic shift handle shaped like the grip of a pistol, with the word Hurst molded into the side. It was factory installed on 1970 and 1971 Plymouth Barracudas and Dodge Challengers with the 4-speed manual transmission. That short production window is the whole story, because the fewer years a part was made, the fewer exist, and the more collectors are willing to pay to complete a restoration. The pistol grip sits right in that sweet spot, common enough that people do not realize it is special, but limited enough that the right examples command real money. Check the back of the handle for the part number and the Hurst manufacturing mark. A short run and a forgettable-looking piece of black plastic is a quiet recipe for value. Collectors call a part like this a sleeper because it flies under the radar of the average person, which is why it still turns up mispriced at estate sales. Number 4 had one of the shortest production runs of any part on this entire list. Number 4, the 1965 Shelby Cobra aluminum valve cover. This one features an engraved snake logo on polished aluminum, and it was produced for only about 2 years. 2 years. In a hobby where some engine parts ran for over a decade, a 2-year run is almost nothing, and that scarcity is exactly what makes collectors pay attention. Shelby valve covers sell in the range of $300 to $1,000 for a matching pair, with original unpolished examples commanding the higher end. One important warning here, there are also common Ford valve covers with a similar look, so do not confuse the two. The Shelby version has the specific snake logo and the Carroll Shelby signature engraved into the aluminum. Number 3 is one of the most sought-after parts in the entire classic car world. The valuable car parts almost never look valuable. They look old. They look greasy. They look like the part you would grab last at a swap meet. The uglier and more forgotten the part, and the shorter it was made, the more a collector quietly wants it. From here, the numbers climb fast. And the last 3 are the ones that make people gasp. Number 3, the vintage Holley 4-barrel carburetor. This is where we cross into serious money. The Holley 4-barrel was the carburetor that powered virtually every great American muscle car of the 1960s and 70s. The Mustang, the Camaro, the Corvette, the Charger. If it had a big V8 engine, it probably had a Holley on top. But here is the secret. Not all Holleys are equal. Ones collectors want are the specific list number variants that came on the highest horsepower engines. And those list numbers are stamped right into the air horn on the top of the carburetor. A list number 3781 means it came on a 1967 Corvette 427. A list number 4452 means it came on a 1969 Mustang Boss 429. And those specific numbers are what separate a $50 core from a $5,000 Holy Grail. The rarest list numbers consistently sell in the $2,000 to $5,000 range. So flip yours over and look at the air horn stamping. If you have a Holley with a rare list number sitting on a shelf in your garage, you are no longer holding a $50 part. You are holding a piece that collectors are actively searching for right now. Number 2 is so rare that it was only ever made for one specific car. Number 2, the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing door handle. And this one is special because it was only ever made for one of the most expensive cars ever built. The 300 SL Gullwing was produced from 1954 to 1957, and fewer than 1,400 were ever made. A chrome and bakelite door handle with a specific curved shape, the absolute height of 1950s German engineering, because it was only produced for the Gullwing, and because those cars now sell for over $1 million each. Surviving original door handles are extremely rare, and they appeal to 2 crowds at once. Individual handles sell in the $1,500 to $3,000 range, and new old stock examples still in the original box can reach $5,000 or more. The tell is unmistakable. A curved chrome lever with a black bakelite thumb pad and a specific Mercedes part number. If you have one in a box of old German car parts gathering dust, whatever you do, do not put it in a yard sale. But none of these, not even the Gullwing door handle, is the single most famous car part hiding in American garages. First, the one mistake that destroys all of this value and the difference that fools almost everyone. Because here is how people lose the value without even realizing it, and it comes down to one word: originality. The car parts that collectors want are the ones that have never been reproduced. After 1990, the aftermarket exploded with reproduction parts that look almost identical to the originals, but are not collectible at all. So how do you tell them apart in your own garage? Look for the manufacturer stamping. Genuine vintage parts have the original automaker or supplier name cast, stamped, or engraved into the metal. The second trap is the hype itself. You have probably seen headlines about car parts selling for $10,000 or $45,000. Here is the truth. Those are the 1%. The auction results that make the news. Most old car parts are common and sell for $20 or $30 as scrap or core charges, So never trust a listing price, only trust what parts have actually sold for. So here is exactly what to do. First, pick up every part and look for the manufacturer stamping or part number. Third, chase the 1-year only parts. And fifth, when you find a part from this list, search the sold listings, not the ones still for sale, because sold prices are the only honest number, which finally brings us to number 1. Number 1. The 1966 Shelby GT 350 dual quad intake manifold. The Shelby GT 350 was the most extreme street-legal Mustang ever built, and it was powered by a special high-revving engine with 2 4-barrel carburetors mounted on a unique aluminum intake manifold. It was made starting in 1965, and fewer than 3,000 of these manifolds were ever produced. So why is a part this specific sitting at number 1? Because this is the part that broke the auction records. A complete, original, unmodified Shelby GT 350 intake setup with both carburetors and the linkage was sold for $45,000, and that sale went so viral it sent mechanics and collectors tearing through every engine bay and storage shelf in the country. Now, I promised you the truth, so here it is. Most intake manifolds are common and sell for around $50 to $200, but the exceptional pieces are real. A genuine Shelby GT 350 setup in complete and original condition is one of the most sought-after engine parts in the entire classic car hobby. And complete pristine setups with every original carburetor, linkage, and air cleaner are the ones that command serious money. That is the part from the very start of this video, the one tossed in the dumpster, the part people once sold for the price of a new car. And remember the bonus I promised. Even rarer than anything on this list is a part called the Ferrari 250 GTO brake caliper, a bright red cast aluminum brake caliper made for only a single production run in 1962. If you ever spot a red brake caliper with an old Italian marking on it in a garage, look very, very closely. So go open that garage right now, pick up every old part, check the stampings very carefully, look for the brand names, and remember that the ugliest, greasiest, most forgotten and overlooked piece in the box might be the one that someone has been searching for. The part that looks like scrap metal could be the part that funds your next vacation, because the only thing standing between you and a small fortune sitting in your own garage is simply knowing what you are looking at. The collectors already know, now you do too.